What if the greatest love story ever told was never really love at all? What if it was obsession disguised as devotion? Welcome to Movies with Victoria, where we look beyond the screen and explore the stories that stay with us. The Museum of Innocence, based on a novel by Orhan Pamuk, isn't just a love story. It is a psychological journey into obsession, power, class, and desire, and the dangerous beauty of longing. Grab your popcorn, because this 9-episode series journey through 1970s Istanbul is not a light watch. It is layered, tragic, and quietly unsettling. The Museum of Innocence, inspired by the novel from Orhan Pamuk, begins during a period of unrest. The country is tense, politics are unstable, change is everywhere. But within the upper class of Istanbul, life seems untouched. And that's where we meet Kamal. He's 30 years old, wealthy, educated abroad, privileged in every sense. His life looks perfect. Money, status, and a stony fiancée named Sybil. Everything is in place. Until one day, where he walks into a boutique and sees Fusun. She's 18, a distant relation, not blood relative. She's young, bright, and the way the camera focuses on her innocence, it feels intentional, almost unsettling. That moment shifts something in him. He remembers her from years ago, but now he can't stop looking. He came to shop for Sybil, but instead he finds himself fixated on Fusun's smile. Their first exchange is simple, quiet, reserved, but there's a spark, not the same on both sides. Because for Kamal, it quickly becomes something deeper, something consuming. He keeps coming back. Casual chats turn into longer conversations. His intention becomes harder to ignore. Fusun is cautious. She knows he's engaged. She understands the risks, what she's pulled into. He represents a world far apart from hers. Soon their secret affair begins. Kamal claims he's in love with Fusun, but Kamal never fully chose. He does not end things with Sybil. Instead, he goes ahead with the engagement, a grand event filled with wealth and appearances. And then here comes the painful part. He invites Fusun. Imagine just standing there, watching the man who claims to want to celebrate someone else. Fusun shows up, quiet, composed, but clearly hot. Kamal, on the other hand, is pleased. He wants her to witness his life, his importance. He even dances with her, closely, openly. People notice. The tension is obvious. Even Sybil sees it. And still, Kamal behaves like he's the one doing wrong. At this point, the story makes it clear. Kamal is not some romantic hero. He's self-centered. He wants everything without giving anything up. After the engagement, Fusun disappears, and that's when things take a darker turn. Kamal becomes restless, lost. Years go by. When he finally finds her again, she's no longer the same person. She's older, married, more guided. But Kamal has not moved on at all. He begins visiting her home repeatedly, day after day, year after year, and this is where things become unsettling. He starts taking items, small things, personal things, a spoon, a hair clip, earrings, even cigarette ends. Anything connected to her becomes meaningful to him. He creates a collection, convincing himself it is an expression of love. But from the outside, it feels deeply disturbing. Our family says something is not right, but his influence and wealth keep them in silence. For most of the story, Fusun is not treated as a full person. She becomes an idea, something imagined. But towards the end, the perspective begins to shift. We finally see her as she truly is. Not just innocent, not just desired, but a woman with ambition, frustration, someone limited by class and expectations. And slowly, the difference becomes clear. Kamal's version of love and Fusun lived reality are not the same. Because while she evolves, she remains stuck in the past. She's still holding on to the girl she used to be, the 18 years old Fusun. And that's where the real tragedy lies. When she finally confronts him, she questions his intention. She sees he never truly chose her, not when it matters most. He chose comfort. He chose status. He chose the ball until it was too late. Now he wants a second chance without taking accountability. And everything begins to fall apart. Because what he calls love was never really about her. It was about control. He held on to objects because he could hold on to her choices. He turned memories into possessions because he couldn't accept change. And when she started reclaiming her independence, his illusion begins to break. The ending is heartbreaking. Fusun's story took a tragic turn. Sudden, quiet, almost shocking in simplicity. And what makes it even more haunting is this. Kamal never truly had her. And in a strange way, her absence becomes the only way he can preserve her, unchanging, frozen in time. After her death, he does something extreme. He built a museum. Inside are countless items, cigarette ends carefully labeled, clothes she wore, jewelry she lost, pieces of her life, displayed like something holy. To him, it is proof of love, but the story leaves that idea open to question, because what we are really seeing is a man who turned someone's life into a collection, not who she was, or who he believed she was. In the final moments, Kamal stands alone, older, calmer, certain of its story. He believes he had preserved love forever. But the camera tells a different story. It focuses on the objects, still, cold, empty. And that's where the message becomes clear. Love exists between people. Obsession exists in what we hold on to. Kamal didn't preserve a relationship. He preserved fragments. And in doing so, he held onto a feeling that refused to grow. Which brings us to the final thought. If love requires growth and choice, can this truly be called love? Because in the end, this isn't just for some tragedy. It's Kamal's failures to change. A man who avoided difficult choices, who confused possession with connection, who held onto a version of someone instead of understanding them. The museum becomes both a tribute and a confession. Beautiful, yet deeply unsettling. And that tension is the whole point. Because when it ends, it does not give you closure. It leaves you with a question. Was this really a love story or just obsession? Carefully disguised as one. If you enjoy emotional movie stories, subscribe to Movies with Victoria for more.